There on the left, you can see the concerned operators checking out closely the erosion that's happening as the water flow decreases. Now let's fast forward to 17 March. I think this is CBS footage. You can even hear my old alligator mouth in the background. She was very close to where I was standing with a good telephoto view. You can see the shotcrete repair on the left side of the spillway and the water approaching the rock bolts. See the mist and water and spray of the spikes sticking up from the ends of the rock bolts? We'll talk more about those later. Now, if she'll just zoom out a little bit, we can catch the whole picture. There you go. Quickly ramping up the flow to avoid further head cutting erosion of the busted spillway. It took them about 50 minutes to crank it up from 0 to 40,000 CFS back on the 17th. Here's the drone footage put out by the Department of Water Resources, and I spoke with the drone pilots the day I was there, and the Department of Water Resources closely monitors what footage is released to the public. And you'll see here, we start with the water coming down the spillway, but they don't show the best part where the water is pouring over the edge of the spillway and the anchor bolts or the rock bolts in action, or any of the minor erosion starting there at the head. Now there's a good 40, 50,000 CFS plunging straight down into the plunge pool. Again, the Hyatt power plant was shut down out of an abundance of caution during this operation, but once they determined the amount of debris and the stability of the water level in the Thermalito diversion pool, the Hyatt power plant was started back up fairly soon after this operation began. Looks like a motorboat wake as the water departs the spillway gates. And there's your newest waterfall feature in Northern California, the busted Oroville main spillway. This footage goes back to the 10th of March and helps explain some of the cost of some of these repairs. Those are Siller Brothers helicopters, the Sikorsky Sky Cranes, based out of Yuba City, California, moving the power transmission lines into place for the new transmission line, so they no longer have to run the power lines over the emergency spillway. They're going to create a whole new power line system. These helicopters are expensive, somewhere up around $10,000 an hour. Here we're looking down the spillway, and you can see the drill rigs for the rock bolts. All that orange fluorescent spray paint is showing operators where to put the rock bolts. Rock bolts to literally bolt the spillway back down to the bedrock. We'll look at how these rock bolts work here in a couple of minutes. And here's your newly formed plunge pool right off the end of the busted spillway. Where's all the debris being taken coming out of the diversion pool? Well, right up here to these large benches around the edges of the emergency spillway newly formed canyon. Here's what's left of the lower half of the main spillway, and one of the first things they're going to do when they rebuild or repair this spillway is remove that lower half section altogether. There's another look at the plunge pool and the size and scale of it. There's your rebar. And a nice look right down into the plunge pool. Some of the repair work done on the edge of the spillway, shotcrete. So this is how they get the equipment